you know, this is an odd first video to make. I was going to make a video on why I wanted to make these videos. That'll probably go up before this one, but I wanted to get this down while it was fresh in my head concerning the terrible thing that happened concerning Alec Baldwin and that film set. Now, it's related to it, but it's not a opinion of it because I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I don't really follow news in that fashion. I heard of it secondhand, but I've heard a lot of strong opinions on the matter concerning it was his fault. It wasn't his fault. Obviously, I think he's somewhat political, so yeah, that draws a line in the sand right there. But I do recall it will be about 25 years ago now. I did experience something similar when I was serving in the British version of the reserves forces, the Territorial Army, and I thought I'd sit here and talk about that, and maybe that will give somebody a comparison that they might find helpful. I would have been about 17, possibly 18, and I'd just joined not a couple of months beforehand, and so as it works back then, I don't know how it works in other countries or how it works now in this country, to be honest. But it was, they would you go in, you say, oh, I want to be in the TA, and they go, great, and you sign your life away, and you, in my regiment at least, because I wasn't infantry, I was artillery, you would do four weekends of training covering the basics, and that would include rifle safety, first aid, MBC. I don't know what they call that these days. That's like a nuclear, biological, chemical, which came in very handy in later life. But we did all that, all this stuff, and then the theory is you do that, then the next time a basic training camp comes up, you go down to Larkhill and do that, and that's 2 weeks. It's longer for infantry, but we don't have to run around that much. We just shoot howitzers and drink tea. So this all happened. The last weekend of the course was the blank fire training exercise, and they take you out into the middle of wherever. It was Otterburn for us. Now, if you don't know Otterburn, and I don't think many people have much cause to know anything about Otterburn, it's in England, but if you tripped down and rolled down a hill, you'd end up in Scotland. It's right at the top of Northumberland, and the joke was it's the only place that's 90% uphill. You can walk up a hill out, and then you can walk up a hill back, and you've got back to your house, and you still don't know how it happened. And the snow's horrendous for England. We don't get much snow, but for the area, it's horrendous weather. It's never that lovely cold snow you see in the films and stuff. It's just this horrible grey sludge that goes horizontal. So I completed my first 4 weeks training. We did that. It wasn't bad weather actually for the training. We did all this. Came back, celebrated. Then the morning after, just as we were getting ready to leave, go back to our normal lives and all that rubbish, the warrant officer in charge took me aside and he said, you need to do another 4 weeks. And I'm like, okay. He just says, you just need a bit more practice, which was code for your shit. So yeah, what can you do? I'll do another 4 weeks. Excuse me. So other 4 weeks passed. I think I did 3 of them. I missed one out. That's another long story. Then the blank fire exercise came by again. This was I think I didn't know anybody on it at this time. I think what had happened was I'd had to miss a few, and then I went on to the next course after that, and I ended up with a lot of people I didn't know. It wasn't too bad, but because a lot of time had passed, like 2 or 3 months from when I'd actually been in, we're in the depths of December then, and the weather was absolutely horrendous. So it was so horrendous that we actually were given a shed to sleep in, because normally you would sleep like in a bivouac, like under a little basha sheet. But the weather was that bad, the stuck were in a shed, which had bunks in that. So slept in there. It was absolutely freezing. In the morning time, yes, I'm getting to the point where this is like Alec Baldwin, don't worry. So we got up in the morning time, and a big container full of blank rounds was put on the table in the middle of the hut, and it said, "Help yourself to rounds." Now, as you can probably tell, that's where the incident happened, because I picked up a load of rounds and I was loading a magazine, and I happened to look down like that, and the very round I had in my hand was a live round. So that put stop to training for 3 hours that day, because obviously when I handed it into the corporal in charge, he went back into where the instructors were sleeping and just said, "We've just found a blank round, like a live round," and all hell broke loose, I assume. I never got to find out what happened. Heads ruled, no doubt. So to this day, I don't know how it got in there. I don't think it was malicious. I mean, possibly it was. If I hadn't checked that checked out, it was blind luck. I saw it. I'd loaded 120 rounds that day. That was one of them. And if I hadn't glanced down when I did, because the rifle I had was fitted with a blank fire adapter, the rifle would have blown up and taken my head with it. I wouldn't have been sitting here now. My life was safe because I looked down, and because I knew what a blank round looked like, and that was for no other reason than I picked one up one day to have a look at it and say, "Well, why is this different to a real one?" And yeah, so it's easily done, and that was in a military setting. That was so it is easily done. I don't know how it works on film sets with insurance and stuff like that, but there was a certain amount of trust placed in the armourer. I could only assume somebody else had drawn out live rounds that day as well, and one of them had fallen on the floor or something, and then he was sorting something out, and then his blank round fell on the floor and rolled under a table. He picked something that's easily done but could easily cost somebody their life. So that's more or less it. I don't really know what anybody will get from that, but it is just to say that these things easily happen, and it's still a terrible thing. But I mean, I honestly didn't realise I would have killed myself until we came to strip down the rifles at the end of the day. Then I suddenly remembered I had a blank fire adapter on. I thought I was just going to shoot it and it would probably just whistled off through the trees, never to be heard of again. And it was only when I was sitting down, put my rifle down, and I took a little spanner out to get at the BFA. I looked at it and I went, "Well, hang on a minute." And I said, "What would happen if I shot a round with a live round of that thing on?" And he goes, "You'd blow your head off." And I was just, oh God. So yeah, I got drunk. Anyway, I'm only allowed to post 10-minute videos, so I'm going to have to roll up this one quickly. Have a good day. Cheers.